Hello and welcome back to the Distressed Princess. I'm Rhonda. In today's video, I'm going to show you some really pretty things that I made from things that I found at junk stores and thrift stores. My first stop was a place called Friends & Company in Metropolis, Illinois. And when I say junk store, that is my loving term for these stores like this that have these beautiful booths full of awesome things that people have upcycled, repurposed, and you'll also find some things that you can use in your own crafting, which is why I frequent these places a lot. One, to get ideas, to purchase some stuff that I wouldn't want to make myself, and also to purchase the items I would need to upcycle for my own thrift flip videos. Such as this rusty old lard bucket. Lard bucket, that sounds like a derogatory term, but I was going to pick up this bucket and my plans were to repaint it. The price was right at only $12, so I scooped it up. Here's a better look at the bucket. My plan was to paint over all the red writing with some white paint, but I wanted to keep the rest. And for this project, I decided to use some white latex paint I had just laying around the house. And I was careful while I was painting. Any of the rust spots that I wanted to try to leave showing, I just painted around them and tried not to cover up all the rusty places. There was a lot of rust at the bottom, and so I left that. I wanted the word flower to be on the side of the bucket to replace the wording that was there. And so I got out my IOD stamps and I arranged the letters to make the word on some piece of clear plastic I have. I really need to get one of those backer things, whatever they are, that you're supposed to use to put the letters on. I don't have one, so I'm just making do with a clear piece of some sort of plastic I had. And I'm using IOD black ink to rub onto the letters to make my stamp. Since this is a cylinder I'm working on, I found it easier to lay the bucket down and put the stamp down on top. Then I filled in the letters with black paint. And that's it, and she sits in my kitchen and I love her. Also at Friends & Company, in a booth along with these Myra bags that I adore, was this jar, and the good price for $6, and it was large. I already knew what I wanted it for. I had already picked up at a church thrift store in my town a whole bag full of some sort of string. I don't know if it's for embroidery, crochet, I think maybe crochet. Anyway, a whole bag, and I picked up all the white, off-white cream ones that were there. I got the whole bag for just a couple bucks. And I also picked up a bag of lace scraps from the same thrift store for only $1 or $2. I thought it would be cute to display these spools of thread in a large jar with the lace, and I have a special idea for the lace as well. So this is a really simple project and it does turn out so adorable. Just get a very large jar, find you some of this thread or string, and fill it up. And my idea for the lace was to use one of these old style clothespins and roll the lace up on them, secure them with a pin, and put that in the jar with the string. Easy as pie, and I think my favorite thrift flip of this video. Another junk store I go to a lot is called the Milkmaid in Vienna, Illinois. And this is where I found a whole bag of those old-fashioned clothespins that I just used in the last thrift flip. And I had a whole bunch of them left over, so I'm going to put them in this jar that I've had for ages. And I know I thrifted it too, so I know I got it for cheap. But how cute it is just to put these clothespins in this jar. But to give it a special touch, I'm also going to make it a fabric label out of some of this material that I've had. It's actually a placemat, and I'm going to cut a piece just to fit on the front of the jar and use some rubber stamps that I got at Michael's to stamp some words. And the words that I'm using to stamp onto the fabric is wash day. After I cut my material, I made sure to keep the frayed edges because I liked those a lot. Because hot glue won't stick very good to glass, I used double-sided tape to attach my label to the jar. The next junk store I went to was the Vienna Town Square Mall in Vienna, Illinois, which I go to all the time, and I found something very interesting, a very long galvanized metal chicken feeder. My idea was to turn it into a centerpiece complete with some candles, and I wanted them to be short taper-like candles, and my first thought was to buy tapered candles and cut them off. But then at the Family Dollar store, I saw these emergency candles that were just the right size. Please know that I am only making this as a for looks display only project. I don't plan on lighting these candles because I'm not certain how well they're going to stay standing up, and I would not want them to fall over and catch anything on fire. The way that I got mine to stand up in the chicken feeder was just by using hot glue. And it seems to work okay, but like I said, I don't recommend lighting and actually using these candles. Another reason why I'm not going to light these candles is because I'm going to add some greenery, and I'm afraid that it might catch on fire if I were to light the candles. So this is just some fall greenery that I picked up at the Dollar Tree earlier this year. And so I'm going to cut off some sprigs and tuck those into the little chicken feeder holes. In this thrift flip, I'm using some pillow shams that I picked up at the Salvation Army. I'm going to use these pillow shams for parts, so I'll be taking these beautiful wooden buttons off and saving them for another project. My idea was to use one of these shams and turn it into a little fake apron, and it's going to have some little fake pockets made out of doilies. And the reason that I'm using the word fake is because I don't plan on actually using it as an apron, so it's not going to go in the washing machine. I wouldn't recommend washing it with the techniques that I'm going to use. However, if you wanted to actually get a sewing machine or hand sew this, you definitely could, but I'll just be using hot glue. After I removed those pretty wooden buttons, I ran an iron over the material. Then I closed up the open end of the pillow sham with my hot glue gun. Then I decided that for the tie around the waist of the apron, that I would need some of the lace from my jar. I rolled out enough lace that if this were a real apron, the lace would go around the top waist and enough that you could tie around your back. And I hot glued the lace all along the top. Next, I cut a doily that I got for $1 in half, and I used 1/2 for each pocket. I just folded in the sides to make it more of a square pocket shape. And I hot glued both sides in the bottom to the pillow sham. I noticed when I went to hang my apron up that the tops of my doily pockets were trying to flop over, so I decided to go back and put just a little dot of hot glue to keep them where I wanted them. And for this one, I'm using this white milk glass plate that I found at the church thrift store. And I was so enamored with it. It was so pretty to me that I knew I had to use it in some project. So I also picked up this glass at the same thrift store, and I'm going to glue it to the bottom of the plate and make a cake stand. I'm using Fix-All adhesive from the Dollar Tree, but you could also use E6000. I haven't baked a cake yet to put on my cake plate, so I just decorated it with an old pie tin and some more doilies. Now let's take a look back at all our thrift flips today. I love this style of decorating. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if this is your style too, if you like it, and which one was your favorite. For more DIY fun, click the link that I've provided for you right here, and I'll see you next time. Bye!